All right, guys, let's get right to it. We have a lot to unpack in today's DeFiancy Insight, so we're going to hop right into it. So first thing that I wanted to share is a little bit of hesitation in the crypto markets right now. And the reason why I say that is because as you look at Bitcoin here, this is on the daily chart. I'm comparing this, as you can see here, I have an overlap of the S&P 500 is what this is. And you see where crypto, in particular Bitcoin, like every time that the main market, when the traditional finance market moves, you're going to see crypto, in particular Bitcoin, you're going to see the overall market shift about 3% for every 1% that the traditional finance market moves. And so as you see some of these market moves, you see bigger moves when it comes to Bitcoin. You see this pump here, you see it pumping. You see it coming down here, you see it aggressive going down. You see another bump here, you see another bump here. The reason why I point that out is because it won't always be like this where crypto is following the traditional financial markets. At some point they will decouple, but we haven't seen that yet. I mean, again, you can see this rise here, you see a more aggressive rise in crypto. You see a downturn here, you see a more aggressive downturn. And the traditional financial markets, you know, when the Fed is raising rates, we have another hearing with Jerome Powell, by the way. And whenever they raise the rates, it affects traditional finance in a way that brings the market down. And crypto, again, is going to swing more aggressively than traditional finance. And it's not a bullish signal when you have that scenario playing out. And on top of that, we've got a lot of different things you guys have heard from us talking about, a lot of other things that are happening in the market. What you don't want to do is listen to someone who's literally talking about crypto and only analyzing the markets from the historical records of the last 10 years of crypto. So they're using charts on crypto to look at what the future holds in crypto. They're not looking at the entire scenario of the macroeconomic situations that we find ourselves in. And so I just wanted to show you how this kind of tracks along to help you build your investment thesis as you're figuring out how to place your investments. So one thing that is interesting is that what is this title? It is the Senior Commodity Strategist, Mike McGlone. He has somewhat of a bullish take on crypto as far as what he believes. He mentioned some pretty incredible things on Finbold. I wanted to show you. One of the things that he pointed out here is that he thinks Bitcoin's maturing into a global digital collateral. I just wanted to point this out. I thought it was a very interesting read, an interesting article. Of course, you can click on it below and read it yourself. But to think about, a digital global collateral, I think is pretty neat because you can actually collateralize your assets and borrow against them to do other things. I just thought it was a unique view, and I wanted to point this article out. Is pretty interesting. But another thing that I want to share with you that we're looking at right now in the markets, there's just so many different things that affect, again, on a macroeconomic level. When you look at everything that's going on in the world, here's the crisis that we have in Shanghai and in China with their ports. So this little map that's flashing back and forth, you're seeing how many ships are stuck and are not moving that are coming to the United States to bring supplies and goods. So what you're looking at right now is April of 2019. Boom, there's April 22, the year 2022. So look at back and forth from 2019 to 2022, literally this month, just a few years difference, and you see just how many ships are out there that are not coming in. This leads to supply shocks. This leads to increased inflation. We're going to have more and more of that. And that causes a lot of different issues in the financial system. I mean, look at all these ships that are stuck. The difference between 2019 and 2022. I mean, these are real issues that you can't ignore. I mean, the headline here: satellite maps Shanghai supply chain standstill. You look at what Henry Byers tweeted with this chart here. He says that in terms of ocean container volumes leaving China for the United States, he says by early May 2022 we could see the lowest levels we've seen since May of 2020. So those are less and less and less items that we're going to have, and people are used to having those on the regular. What do you think that's going to do to prices on the items that people can get a hold of? When people see less items at the store, they freak out, start buying more, which creates more of a problem. that creates a pricing scenario issue. And again, at some point, crypto is going to decouple from traditional finance, but we can't ignore some of these macro issues that definitely affect the crypto marketplace. I do think that overall, I think if you are dollar cost averaging as you're moving forward, you'll be okay, but you need to be okay with being underwater for a potentially significant period of time. I mean, we're looking at Bitcoin potentially dropping to between 12 and 20,000. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to think about that. They don't want to see it. But there are other great things happening in crypto. If you look at Monero, we talked about privacy tokens quite a bit with Defiancy. We share with you guys specifically Monero and a few others. But man, Monero had took off, has done extremely well. Here's a look of 3 months and what the chart looks like with Monero. It's done extremely well. So hopefully you took advantage of some privacy tokens. And also interesting news. We have Justin's son, which is just notorious for drama, honestly. He's the founder of TRON, by the way. If you don't know who Justin's son is, he came out not long ago, just about a week ago, I believe it was, and said that he was going to create the most decentralized stablecoin in human history and promised to pay a 30% annual yield to investors, so a 30% APY. I thought it was interesting. The token's going to be USDD is what they're going to call it. Again, USDD. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole personally. I think that everything rises and falls on leadership, and Justin's son is not somebody that I'm impressed by. I would be very leery because you're going to hear some hype about this, but it is interesting nonetheless, and you can check that out and make up your own opinion on what's going on. In addition to that, I wanted to point out to you that Coinbase, I wanted to show you something that you can use also in your investment thesis. In October of last year, they announced adding NFTs to their platform. They had 1.5 million people sitting on a waiting list in October. But this is a classic example of buy the rumor, sell the news. So if you've never heard that before, buy the rumor, sell the news. So here they talk about this NFT platform. Boom. Look at this rally on Coinbase. And then they had the beta launch of it in April. And look what happened in April. Boom. So you would think that, hey, if they're adding this and they've got a waiting list, they're going to add NFTs, which is a hot topic, to one of the largest exchanges that are out there. Everybody knows about Coinbase. Man, you'd think that the market would respond and take off. Well, that's a buy the rumor, sell the news scenario. So here, when they announced it, great time to buy because it pumped. And then here they released the beta, and it completely the beta version of the NFTs, and it just goes down. So again, buy the rumor, sell the news. So just something else to help you with your investment thesis. Also, Terra took off. Terra has performed extremely well. Terra Luna. So the Luna token has done extremely well. In fact, a Mazzari analyst said that Terra has firmly planted itself on the moon. Well, you need to be careful with things that plant itself on the moon when you have the charts like we see here. Again, this is Bitcoin, the daily Bitcoin chart, heading in the down direction overall, and you've got a coin that's pumped significantly. So if you look at Luna, it has done extremely well, but what that means is that there's a lot of profit on the table for early investors who have significantly gotten a return on investment. These token prices, look here, 586. So if you'd have bought, Terra in June last year, $5.86 in this one example, and it took off, all the way up to $111, $112. You can see why people have taken profits. It is a little bit concerning to ape into this right now when it has performed so well in the midst of the overall market not performing well. Just be cautious on things like that, because a lot of times when things are rising, they get a lot of buzz. That's not necessarily a great time to just buy in because you join all the hype. So be very, very, very concerned and cautious with that. Another thing is there is a MetaMask security issue. I'm not going to go over it today, but I do want you to click on the link below. If you use an Apple device particularly, there's an Apple setting that you may want to tweak to help your MetaMask wallet. If you have the DeFi wallet MetaMask, you're going to want to take a look at that. In addition to that, a few other things that I wanted to share with you guys. This is on the Algorand blockchain, which is really interesting, is buying real estate on chain, which is really cool. This investment platform allows you, we just Defiancy did a presentation at many real estate investing conferences and talked about real estate and tokenizing properties. And this is a real example of properties that you can invest in with crypto. For as little as $50, you can actually invest in these properties, and you can sprinkle money across multiple different platforms or multiple different properties in different areas. Like this one has 4 different commercial properties, which is interesting. I'm just going to show you an example. Obviously, you can see these houses and such, but check this out. It's just really neat to look at and to plug into. This is 7,800 square feet. As you can see, it's got a McDonald's here, and it also has these other properties. So it is McDonald's, Domino's, U.S. Cellular, and a real estate office as an example. If you wanted exposure to this, and this is in Iowa, they have tokenized this property and allow you to actually buy shares of it, if you will, by buying tokens. So one of the interesting things, if you guys want to hear more about that, there's so much at the real estate investing conference that we shared. Let us know. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, send us a message or a comment. Let us know that you want more information on real estate investing opportunities, tokenizing properties, that type of thing. We can give you some more content on that. And last thing I want to share with you is, what is something that you can do in this market right now? If you're a little concerned and you may be a little bit more risk averse, maybe you've got some money that you don't want to put into a volatile asset that could go down. You're scared of what may happen over the next, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 16 months. I understand, some people want to buy and hold, and they buy every dip, and that's fine. At some point, I do believe that crypto is going to take over and do extremely well. Even if we face some tough times in the near future, I do think overall we're going to perform great. As long as you can handle your investments going underwater in value for a while and hang on to them without selling at the bottom. That's the last thing you want to do, is buy high and sell low because you're forced to. But if you wanted to do something more diverse, you can invest in properties like this, but you can also invest in a yield farm. So you can buy a stable coin, and most of you know what a stable coin is, but if you're newer to crypto and you've never heard of a stable coin, it's pegged to the price of the US dollar. So if you have a stable coin that's, let's just say it's USDC, each token is worth $1. So if you have $100,000 worth of USDC last week, you're going to have $100,000 worth of USDC this week. Well, you can put that into a yield farm. You can have a liquidity pool, if you will, where other people have their funds there, kind of like your savings at a bank account, right? If I bank at your bank and you bank there as well, your savings, my savings, another customer's savings, we all have our money and savings at that bank. And that creates a pool of money that the bank can use, and for using that, for having access to our money, because we deposit there, they give us a measly, half of 1% if you're lucky in interest. Well, you can do the same thing in DeFi and decentralized finance, where if you had $100,000 worth of a stable coin that doesn't fluctuate, it's not subject to all that volatility, you can put it in a liquidity pool, and when you do that with other people's liquidity, it creates a big pool, millions and millions and millions of dollars. And as people use that money for transaction, they're paying transaction fees, and those fees are spread out amongst the individual contributors in that pool, and you can earn up to 20% APY on having money in stable coins. And so if that's something that you want to do, contact our office. We'll be glad to help you do that. You can go to www.defiancy.finance. Again, defiancy.finance. Click on the button that says book consultation. That takes you to the form where you can just basically let us know who you are and what you're wanting to do, and we'll get back with you on how we can help you accomplish your goals in DeFi. And so I hope this video has been helpful. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight on what's going on in the market, why you might want to be a little bit cautious. You might get some better buying opportunities here in the near future, and you can invest in multiple different things, whether it be real estate on chain, as I showed you here, or liquidity pool. And if you would like any extra information on any of this, let us know. There's also links below. Once again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with others, and we look forward to talking to you in the next Defiancy Insight. With that being said, Defiancy out. Take care. Bye for now.